for this continuous education and ensuring that members are up to date with the knowledge, with what is happening around them. They are empowered and they are able to take decision and upgrade themselves. To discuss that subject, as we call it, free lesson for continuing education, we have Dr. Vikram Kumar, former director of National Physical Laboratory and Professor Emeritus of IIT Delhi. Professor Vikram Kumar is well known in the area of semiconductor materials, characterization and device technology. His early work on ultra-thin oxides. Dr. Kumar has an extensive experience with PV materials, devices, physics of nanotechnology, materials, solar technology application. He was recognized as a Distinguished Material Scientist of the Year 2012 by the Material Research Society of India. Dr. Kumar is the chairman of member of numerous committees of DST, MNRE, and other agencies. He is involved with several professional associations like Semiconductor Association, etc. I'd like to call upon Dr. Murugesan, President, Indian Society of Technical Education. Dr. Murugesan is here. Dr. Murugesan is presently the President of Indian Society of Technical Education. He was the former Vice Chancellor of Anna University of Technology, Madurai, as Vice Chancellor. He strongly believes that economic development of a nation is dependent on the quality of human resource and higher education, which becomes the basis of overall human development of the country. The experience and exposure he has in MIT, Boston, National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technology University, Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, Australia, Villanova University, Philadelphia, is giving a helping hand in building the Anna University of Technology, Madurai, with international standard. Dr. Murugesan, welcome. We have Dr. B.Venkatraman, Associate Director, Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, which we properly call IGCAR. He has combined the physics of NDE, non-destructive engineering, with engineering and technology, and consistently providing excellent R&D support and robust NDE-based solution to technologically challenging problems in nuclear industry. He is presently the head Radiological Safety Division and Associate Director, Radiological Safety and Environment Group at IGCAR Kalpakkam. He is the President, Indian Society for Radiation Physics, Chairman of National Certification Board. Dr. Venkatraman, welcome. We also have Dr. Sidharth, Sahni, member, European Association, Asian Society for Breast Disease. We heard a very valuable comment from Sidharth yesterday. He is the specialist breast surgeon to the Embassy of USA, New Delhi, and also the lead consultant for breast services for the Artemis Health Institute, Gurgaon. Dr. Sahni also has been recently appointed onto the board of directors of the European and Asian Society of Mastology, heading the South Asian office as president till 2016. All of you, welcome to the session. First question, of course, we all realize that for an association like this, education become the pillar. So Dr. Kumar, of course, you have been involved into several academic institute and other CSI institute. How is this continuing education helped shaping up all these researchers and the achievement that we have done in India?
Thank you, Prashant. Well, continuing education is actually the main task, at least for the professional societies, and there's really the raison d'être, as they say, reason for being is the continuing education. We just want to bring together people of the same interest, and we should also be able to provide them opportunity to learn. After all, a person, when we suppose an engineer, he leaves engineering college at the age of 22. Now, few years later, 10 years, 20 years later, how does he keep up with the developments in that area? That's true for all science, with medical, engineering, any profession. So this is the main purpose for existence of a society. And also, there's the main reason why a person will join a society. If the society does not serve this purpose, then the people will lose interest. How does the society provide continuous education? Is one thing, of course, almost all societies do is to arrange conferences, professional conferences once a year or more, international conferences once every 2-3 years, giving opportunity to people in India to look at and learn from the best in the world, bring them here and let them learn. So arranging conferences, of course, is a big business. And we just in the last session heard how many millions of euros are earned by every German city and so on. But there are other things that a professional society should do, and that is like organizing short-term courses and different places with local chapters, organizing courses and so on. Bringing newsletters, bringing the latest update in that field to the members, just keep them informed about updation. Many societies have, and in fact all should have, a website for answering questions, clearing doubts. Unfortunately, this is one task that most of the Indian professional societies, at least with which I am familiar, do not perform properly, at least. And of course, many of them publish journals. So one of the reasons why we are not able to maintain our websites properly and have forums available where anybody now take best advantage of internet, is that most of these professional societies that at least the ones that I am a member of, are run by volunteers. There is no professional management. We do not have people like CIM helping us run the society. We don't have time, and we are not able to take care of things as we should. So that is one big lacuna. And also local chapters, of course, everybody would like to arrange a conference, but short-term courses for refresher courses, that is not very often done by societies. Of course, IST is very good, I must say, in organizing this. That's the professionally they do it. I'm sure he will talk about that later, Dr. Murugesan. In fact, I became a member of IST by arranging a short-term course about 30 years ago. The societies have to become more professional in arranging and providing continuing education. This is the main purpose of the society and main purpose why anybody will join a society. If we do not do this, the society will become defunct or dead. Thank you.
So the message is clear. So educate or perish.
That's right. That's right.
So the next question to Dr. Murugesan for you is that all these conferences, all these educations are mainly happening in the larger cities or maybe tier 2 cities. And most of the time, people from tier 4, tier 5 cities do not have the luxury to come and attend. How do we take those knowledge that we accumulate in a forum like this, how do we take it to them? How do they get benefit out of this? What are you doing?
First, I would like to enlighten about the society, and then I will come to the question. The first thing, the Indian Society for Technical Education is a professional society. We are having a lakh faculty members as our fold, and 6 lakh student members, we used to conduct faculty training program, short-term training program for the teachers working in polytechnic colleges, engineering colleges, NIT, IIT, or throughout the country. From 1972, with a span of 41 years, we conducted 5,000 programs. On an average, every year we used to conduct 100 to 200 programs throughout the country. Here, the main point, we are having more than 1,000 chapters, student chapters, 1,000 faculty chapters. The chapter means one institution. If they are having more than 25 members, faculty members, they form a chapter. Like that we are having throughout the country, 1,000 and odd. What we used to do, we used to conduct this type of program only in the institution. That is the main thing. Other than the institution, now only we are thinking about whether...
Okay, so most of them are limiting themselves as a networking or maybe a membership service, administrative services. But while talking to, I know about your association where you do your certification program, you have taken this. So this, some of this education in part should be, association must take interest to approach government, because this is, I think, is the right time, as Murugesan have said, is that you are the right people to impart right knowledge, because you have that collective knowledge. So if you would like to share what ICDNT is doing in that.
Thank you. Just before going to the actual question part of it, I'll just briefly highlight what is Indian Society for Non-Destructive Testing, because many in this body may or may not be aware.
Sure.
So the Indian Society for Non-Destructive Testing was formed way back in 1972. First, what is non-destructive testing? Probably many of us would not realize, but in our day-to-day lives, non-destructive testing or evaluation plays a very, very critical role, whether it is in the field of healthcare or it is in the field of industrial quality and safety. We use techniques like ultrasound, X-rays in medical healthcare to take care of all of us, right from the fetal evaluation up to old age. Similarly, these sort of technologies are used by the industries to qualify right from the raw material stage onwards to the fabrication, to the in-service inspection of the plants and components, assess their remaining life, etc. So ISNT is a professional body catering to this group of professionals in the country, formed way back in 1972. We are over 6,000 members in strength, and probably one of those unique institutions which caters to the technicians or who come out of the school, to the engineers and scientists working in the industries and research organizations, and also to the professors, lecturers, and the high-end people who are there in the various faculties like in IIT and other universities. And again, one of those very few institutions in India which internationally, when we stand up, we gain recognition. I mean, we are well recognized, and if we have bid for a conference, never have we been unsuccessful. So that is also one of the reasons probably I'm here today. Incidentally, we have the 14th Asian Pacific Conference coming for the first time in India. Bidding was done by us about 8 years back in New Zealand. And incidentally, this conference, I think, is in a very safe hands because Mr. Prashant Sai and his team is leading this particular event. Okay, coming back to the main part of it. Our society primarily has a three-pronged approach as far as continuing education is concerned. We have short-term courses and workshops being conducted along with universities, IITs. In fact, our department, the Department of Atomic Energy, was nodal in establishing a center for NDE at IIT Chennai. And that was after the successful event in 1996. We had a world conference which sensitized the government and the educational and the industries on the role of NDE, after which NDE has grown in a large way. many educational institutions are now having centers and research organizations apart from the Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research or the Department of Space. We have the National Metallurgical Laboratory. Recently, I was in IIT Roper. They are setting up a full-fledged facility in this particular area. So along with the educational institutions, we have short-term courses and workshops. And as Mr. Prashant has mentioned, we have the certification programs. Every year, more than about 3,000 to 4,000 professionals are certified as level 1, level 2, and the highest is level 3. And many of them go abroad to the Gulf countries, to the Asian regions, and also to Europe. And this certification is being conducted according to international standards, the American standard or the international standard ISO. And India, the Bureau of Indian Standards, also has its own standard, IS 13805, which is responsible for the training and certification of personnel in the country. And incidentally, the Indian Society for Non-Destructive Testing has been recognized as a sole body for conducting this particular event. So these certification programs are conducted through our chapters. We have over 19 chapters spread all over the country, and we have the level 3 programs, which are the highest, conducted in collaboration with the international bodies like the American Society for Non-Destructive Testing and the European associations. We conduct it to their international standards every year. And apart from that, we have a number of private players in this particular area who also certify people. And apart from this, we also have the national and international conferences, which we use for continuing education programs. Quite to mention, because 1999, we had the workshop in digital radiology conducted in collaboration with Germany and the European Union, which set the trend and the market presence for digital radiology. 2002, we introduced the concept of structural health monitoring, because the previous session had the president of the Structural Association. So that introduced the concept of the technologies like wireless sensors, robotics, and networking to monitor the structures, the healthiness of the structures. 2007, we had the digital imaging ND, again an international event, in which European and the American Union, they participated. So that introduced the digital imaging concepts in the field of non-destructive evaluation. And of course, in 2013, in November, we have the Asian Pacific Conference on NDT being organized for the first time in India. Again, here we have a unique session on bridging the medical and the industrial community. There are many technologies which NDE has developed over the last decade, which finds application in medical field. It can cut down the provide affordable healthcare to the rural people in India. For example, we have thermal imaging, which can detect breast cancer much earlier than mammography or ultrasound. We have successfully implemented it in rural areas in southern part of India. So these are the technologies which we would like to foster. So we are trying to bring in the medical field. This is one unique example. The second is the application of artificial intelligence, neural networks in frontline technologies, etc. So I feel that, okay, apart from these, certification programs are very, very essential if we need qualified and certified professional who can discharge his duties responsibly, and we can pin down the responsibilities. So in this particular area, definitely, as far as professional bodies are concerned, very few are there. And there is a lot that can be done if all of us can come together. Thank you.
So message is clear that for our long-term sustenance of the association, it is important that we create that educational and as a collectively, you are in a better position to impart those knowledge. Coming back to Dr. Sahni, of course, I saw you smiling with NDE. Now that you will see some synergy, and of course, you can only verify his claim. How good is it, NDE technology, and this. But a lot of time we are involved in this program where. And there are so much technology available, from telemedicine to teletechnology, but still there are a lot to achieve in terms of taking this knowledge from Tier A or from the urban to the rural area. I know there are a lot of talks going on, but is there anything that, Dr. Sahni, you could tell us there's some real-time example happening that where this knowledge transfer is actually happening there.
Yeah, thanks, Prashant. I'll answer Dr. Venkatraman's point. There is a paper that was presented in 1998 at the British Association of Surgical Oncologists, which looked at thermal scintigraphy, which is thermal imaging of the breast, versus mammography and MRI of the breast. And not making too much of a point on it, but one of the names on that paper was an Sahni. And we actually found that it's the most sensitive form of imaging available. Unfortunately, due to market forces, MRI got pushed in the front and thermal scintigraphy has stayed at the background. It's a very cheap technology, especially compared to an MR, and I think it should be promoted. Now, the whole, not making too much of a fuss about it, but the issue with healthcare is when we discuss any healthcare related issues, the impact is on everyone in this room. It's not just within the community. And I think that's something that we should realize as health professionals, that what we debate has far-reaching consequences. So for example, when we talk about scintigraphy, evaluation or thermal imaging of the breast, we need to make sure that it gets out to the public, because they are the people who are being impacted. It's not just the users of that technology. And the real-time example is something that I'm going to share with you right now. It's in the process of being rolled out. So I'm letting out a lot of secrets, but since they're not state secrets and they will only benefit people. Yesterday I spoke of thinking out of the box. The reason it's potentially easier for a healthcare association to think out of the box is because of the impact it creates. So therefore, what we've done when EURAMA was being created, which is the European and Asian Society for Breast Diseases, is that it wasn't just knowledge transfer amongst healthcare professionals. A huge part of this organization is getting into the Asian region something called EURAMA Donna. Now, I don't know how many of you know it, but EURAMA Donna is the second largest female advocacy group for breast cancer in the world after the Susan Komen organization, which comes from the United States of America. It is run not by doctors, thank God for that, but by people women who are leaders in their field, who have either suffered breast cancer or have had people close to them suffering from breast cancer. It is an extremely profitable organization. I often laugh and say because it's not being run by doctors, so it's being done properly. And this is the chapter that we're going to create. We've got 5 or 6 women who are leaders in their field, in the field of finance, industry, art, fashion design, and they're the people who put together the whole concept of the fundraiser. They're going to take the knowledge transfer from medics and put it out, basic breast cancer prevention. You can't prevent the disease, unfortunately. Detection, awareness, and take it down into not just rural India, but please don't forget that in cities we have urban villages which are very densely populated, which are stricken with diseases which affect the urban so-called elite as well. And we get as many women with breast cancer who live in the chawls or who live in the urban villages as we do, driving BMWs. So that is a very key component to that. It's only when you get basic awareness and education right down to grassroots level that you will see the result. And this is being done through the advocacy organization. And that is one of the greatest changes that I think we hope to bring about. We're also not going to reinvent the wheel and say we're the best. Something that we've all spoken about, of liaising with other organizations, doing very similar work, and getting synergy on the platform so that there are no competing interests. One of the problems that we've faced with EURAMA is the cultural change, and I was hearing your last panel discussion. It was in India, it's all over the world, but when you make an association, you shouldn't make an association to get quick publicity for yourself. You have to realize the aim for which the association is made and stick to that. And if you do that, that's what brings in transparency, and that's what really brings in money, and that's what will get international recognition, what people internationally are very scared of. The other thing is certification of that knowledge that's been done, and part of what we're doing with Urama is actually tied up with the European School of Breast Surgery and USOMA, which is the European Society for Breast Diseases, to give certified training both in India and Europe to selected individuals. The selection process is transparent. It happens on the basis of CV and previous experience and interviews. And part of the funding is to send these people there and to get them to come here and do that. But the most critical part is actually getting the people involved, the non-medical people involved. And because that's what the driving force, the change into practice is only brought about by public. And if you educate the public, you will not only have better results, but you'll have a constant, communication going. And so that's what we're doing, and that's one of the ways to get this knowledge out into the, grassroots if possible.
So what I get to know is that what I'm hearing from you, thinking out of the box, synergy with other associations similar, an advocacy group, and not necessarily you have to look into your own group. You can certainly go beyond where this whole thing is going to impact to anybody in terms of it. Any association here would like to share with us that any continuing education that you are doing? Sir, you, please identify yourself.
I am Dr. Kumar, representing IEEE Madras Sectional Educational Activity Chair. We are exactly doing the continuous education for a number of years under the banner of IEEE Madras Section. Till now, we organize a 25 faculty development program and 5 student skill development program, and number of workshop and number of teachers in service program for school teachers, and apart from other kind of a number of conferences, in addition to number of other conferences. Now, I have a question to the panelists. Based on my experience for the last 5 years, what is the way we are facing the problem, particularly in the direction of continuous education? My question particularly to the IIT professor and president of ISTE. Once ISTE organizes a program, we will always appreciate the ISTE's work, because I'm also one of the professor. I'm benefited through ISTE a lot. They have a very good funding, and as well as once we apply for the winter school or summer school, that may be sometime 2 weeks they plan it. Once we attend such a kind of a courses, it is a must to get promoted to the next cadre. Therefore, we get the participants very easily, as well as IST also provide a funding for that. But as a private association like IEEE, through my experience, once we use a research-oriented topics, we get a very good participation. Once we do for a students, the continuous education, that is also a very good participation. But only in the direction of continuous education, we're really struggling to get the participant. But most of our programs are 2 days program. Some of the colleges are not allowing. Suppose industries mean they are not also coming forward to attend the workshops. My question is how to improve the participation and strength of the private association in the continuous education.
So, sir, your question is Dr. Murugesan, and you're talking about lack of participation, how to generate more participation for your
continuous education, not in the research, not for the students.
Sure.
Yes, correct. It is a good question made by my friend. The thing is, the Indian Society for Technical Education, we are organizing 1 week program, 2 weeks program throughout the country, getting fund from the Ministry of Human Resource and from All India Council for Technical Education and other universities. Even 2 days back, we negotiated with Punjab Technological University, and then they allocated fund to organize programs. Normally in our continuing education program, that is particularly for the faculty development programs, we are not collecting any single Why? From the teachers who are going to attend the program. We used to give TADA and then boarding lodging facilities to the faculty members. That is the main reason we are getting people in the program. But in other organizations, some of the IEEE or other organizations, they are conducting programs with collecting money from the participant. In that case, they are finding difficult to pay money. Once if the faculty members are coming and participating, means the institution should give money or their own money they have to put. But in the case of ours, we are not collecting any money. That's why we are conducting the faculty FDP program successfully for the past so many years.
Particularly the FDP, I mean, the IEEE organizing FDPs, we don't, money-wise there is no problem at all. I'm only asking the question how to improve the strength for a continuous education.
Yes.
Because we have similar parallels in our society also, where we have programs which are conventional in nature and organized every year. One thing what we observed is some sort of small value additions. For example, let me take a course on MATLAB or something like that. So if I organize this course on a regular basis with a conventional syllabus, then with the years, the number of participants would definitely dwindle down. But if I can organize the same course with a little bit of value addition, in the sense that the last session I devote it for practicals in which I give real problems, live problems, like for in the examples in the area of image processing or signal analysis, how to use the MATLAB facilities. That we observed attracts more people compared to the earlier ones.
Exactly what we are doing. We are also doing the same way. But I'm asking the question that is also again the research oriented. I'm asking only continuous education, how to improve their knowledge for the teachers as well as the industrial people.
Exactly. No. This is not research oriented. The problems we select are practically industrial oriented. And for those teachers who can pursue the higher education like PhD or postdoctoral, give them some sort of ideas or avenues by which they can move forward. That is the idea. Not research-oriented problems which are highly theoretical in nature. No.
Sir.
Again, I'm Kalachan Sai from CSI, National Geophysical Research Institute. In continuing education, we are hearing about certification program, faculty training program. But the main problem is that we are having lack of best faculty. So how to attract and retain best mind in that area? Most of the educational institutes don't have good faculty. So if you want to partake good training, we need good faculty. How we can manage that? Are you thinking anything on that line?
Dr. Vikram, if you would like to answer that.
You're talking about faculty at in the teachers, in the teaching institution, or
Exactly.
for the refresher course?
Exactly, the teaching.
Teaching. So that is why the faculty improvement program of, for example, ISTE and everybody else has, they are talking about.
That also need faculty.
Who's going to teach the teachers is what is the job of the association. Okay. That's where we have to bring the association who is organizing the program has to have good teachers and provide good faculty. And this is done. For example, when I was at NPL, I was president of the Metrology Society. That is the Society for Measurement Science. And we were conducting courses almost every month for something or else for measurement of how to measure length, how to measure mass, and so on. And there are calibration labs all over the country, and there was never any shortage. People would come and pay and actually attend, because it tells them there's a value addition to the participant, there's a value addition to his organization. And if we can provide that, then only people will come for continuing education. So faculty improvement program that IST arranges, or that our friend from IIT Madras said, that promotion, the university UGC has said, you will get promoted only if you attend so many number of courses during the period. So faculty comes because of that. They will not get promotion otherwise.
Yes, sir.
So, sir, that's fine, but we couldn't attract and retain best minds in the faculty. We have to do that.
There are good faculty available.
We cannot say that.
I think I would like to beg with you. I mean,
Yes,
differ
would
with
you like to?
No, my question is on some other topic.
Yeah, please. Go ahead. Oh, you want to answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I fundamentally would like to differ with you, saying that the best faculty in India is not available. I think we are one of the countries endowed with very good faculties, it depends on the professional society. One of my our directors used to say, if you give peanuts, you will get monkeys. But if you give the right type of remuneration, I think you can attract the best brains which are available.
Excuse me. Yeah. Sir, this is regarding the scientific program in the conferences. As they say, scientific program is the heart of the conference, as very rightly he was saying. But in the last few years, what we are observing is that the scientific programs are not getting enough audience, right? The speaker is speaking, but the conference hall is empty. People are more interested in standing outside the hall and in networking or politics or whatever. So as a result, so many people have stopped going to the conferences, the senior faculty. It is meant more for junior students. So that has been an observation. So this is an immediate challenge that not only me, other people are also observing in our conferences. So can we do something about it?
Well, the only thing you can do about it is to invite good speakers and people who talk of the relevant current interest. I mean, if people are not interested, there is no way you can lock the doors and keep them in. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So
it's a challenge.
the organizers have a very important responsibility, and there's nothing else one can do about it with the conference.
I mean, I think the problem with every type of conference, every type of society, we see that in medicine. And when you organize the program, you have to make sure that your speakers are actually imparting knowledge that would not have been accessible to 500 people in the room without spending a great deal of their time or money. If you can do that, you will get great attendance. When I was training many years ago, one of my consultants told me that 2 golden rules of attending a conference: the first, who is speaking, and the second, where is it being held.
Right. Very right.
And that's it. There's no third secret of success.
Right.
So I see a lot of conferences being organized in Goa these days, irrespective of who the speakers are, and they get great attendance.
That is more counterproductive.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, a conference organized in Venice in Italy is surprisingly well attended than the same conference organized in Verona, which I feel is a much prettier city than Venice.
That's a very valid point, what you're saying, that who's speaking. But another challenge is if you say to somebody, chalo yaar aao andar chalte hain. Arey yaar, it is available in webinars and journals and YouTube, and all these are able to give ample knowledge which can be repeated also. They click it on it and it gets repeated. So that is
yeah, but this is a thing which is there. I'm sure it's in other areas as well, but in medicine it's there, where if you get people who are actually doing stuff, the copyright for IP is not valued as such, particularly in medical intelligence in our country, but it is huge abroad. So for example, when our speakers come, the international speakers come, they don't usually send in their presentations, and they often link up their own laptops to the presentation rather than giving the information out. What is hilarious is that the last time we had a meeting of the board of directors of Urama, The gentleman who's in charge of Western Europe is a wonderful surgeon and a very accomplished academic as well, called Professor Madi Razai from Dusseldorf. And he said that he had actually seen his data and his photographs on breast conserving surgery and what we call oncoplastic surgery, which means that you remodel the breast after doing a lumpectomy, immediate reconstruction. He had seen them being used by an Indian group of authors and sent for publication in the Indian Journal of Cancer, which is a peer-reviewed journal, and it's on the web. And he said, you know, Sidharth, I kept staring at the photographs and that hand very distinctly looked like mine.
Anyway, those are
so
there.
You know, the point that you take is very good, but you have to go to extreme lengths to protect your own IP, so that when you stand on the dais and give a lecture, you have to make sure people can't get access to that without prior permission.
But Dr. Pasi, another point also here is that most of the conference that happens or delivered is that 80% of the time the concentration is given on other logistical issues, fundraising, maybe other issues. Very few time is devoted to developing a robust program, speaker, reviewing, whether those are repetitive presentation. And there are some cases where the presentations are made in flight while you are on the way to the conference. So you can't expect your audience to be in there, because if we are going to repeat this whole thing.
So we can say that while budgeting, scientific program should be given enough weightage.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is gradually going down, which I am seeing in.
Yeah,
that they try to get speakers which are not so, I should not say, but costing less.
We had a very simple trump card for next year's conference, where because we thought out of the box because of this whole advocacy initiative, we have two members of the Indian cricket team who are coming to talk. We have 2 Bollywood actresses, and we have 2 people from finance and industry. Okay. The rest of the speakers automatically agreed because everybody wanted to meet the Bollywood actresses.
Well, in a lighter way, if people are not in the hall listening to the lecture, that means they are outside networking. And that is one of the main purposes of a conference.
Also.
Okay.
We should give separate time for that, I suppose.
We do give, but this is additional networking.
So with that, I wanted to, because we are running late, I wanted to end this session. For the time is most important session that is coming up, where there is no site, nowhere that you can find stuff for association. So that's the topic of our session next, which is very, very apt. And I keep hearing from a lot of association calls me, do I know anyone who would like to be an executive director or stuff for the association, but you don't have a pool of place where you can go and find, or there is no Naukri.com for them. So, but there's a huge community. If you really look at it, we have almost 30 to 40,000 association in India, and the kind of staff member, professional staff member that they require, huge. With that, thank you so much, panel.